students. Today we will be discussing how to apply a cast in Colles fracture. We all know the Colles fracture is very common in our day-to-day practice. Fall on outstretched hand, particularly elderly patient, elderly female, is the common victim and common patient we used to get in the OPD or in our casualty. Well, it is certain important points we have to remember that plaster application is also an art. If it is applied very nicely, then without any discomfort, patient can accept it. But if it is very discomforting one, patient may not like it. So that is why a discomforting one patient used to discard. And it may lead to some problem also and some complication also. So one plaster should be very smooth, and also we must take care that every part of the plaster is applied very nicely. We all know before application of the plaster, two things are important in Colles fracture, that we never apply a full cast in a fresh Colles fracture, because swelling is still there, it is still increasing in the day 1 or day 2. So in this situation, if you do apply, it will be very discomforting situation for the patient, and even catastrophe may take place. So necessarily we need to apply slab for initial 3-4 days time till the swelling subside and go for the final cast. That is what we will practice. 1 point. Number 2 is that the reading the X-ray and also the displacement and also angulation, tilt. So we all know in case of Colles fracture we do get lateral displacement, lateral tilt, posterior displacement, posterior tilt, upward displacement and also rotation. So by giving traction and counter traction, most of the deformities are corrected. While giving traction also, one should be very careful how you are one holding the fingers. If traction is being applied from the side, usually the assistant hold it one finger here, another here. So while holding also, that is important. If you are holding this person like this, the middle finger is being crushed in between the two fingers, it will be discomforting one. And if you position it like this, it becomes a comfortable grip for the person who is giving traction, and also the patient is not feeling discomfort. There should not be any ring in the fingers. That is 1 point. Number 2 also, to be more better habit, that actually nail polish should not be there. Nail polish is a thing where one can look for the circulation also. So nail polish should be washed away preferably. Rings should be removed. Bangles and other things always to be removed. Never try to apply the plaster over the bangle, otherwise it will lead to big ulcer. Sometimes old ladies insist, but do not try to apply plaster over the bangles or anything in the wrist. And holding it should to be like this, so that it is comfortable for the patient as well as to the person who is giving traction. By giving traction, what are things we are seeing? Greater part of the deformity is being corrected. Because one thing is true, that these are patients are elderly patients. And even if you are not giving traction also by counter traction also, we can correct it. Because these are the serrations which are very metaphyseal part, soft part, cancellous part. And if you are giving corrective measure, deformity correction, without giving traction, one can do it. But by doing so, the serrations are being crushed away, and we make essentially this part very smooth. And if this smooth is there, then a possibility of displacement is there. So interlocking or coaptations of the your serrations are very important for interlocking inside. So it gives stability. So that is very important. So thereby, see, the upward displacement rotation is corrected by traction. some degree of your posterior tilt also being corrected. But first posterior tilt and lateral displacement, we supposed to stabilize this part. And we all know the displacement is always in relation to the proximal fragment. Consider the proximal fragment as the anatomic one. So necessarily we have to stabilize it and give pressure over the distal fragment if the displacement is like this, or posterior displacement, posterior angulation. And from this side, for lateral displacement effective. Thereby we can correct it, calculate it, the level of the style of process of both radius and ulnar, and a relationship, you know, the radial stellar process is always lower, about half an inch than that of your ulnar stellar process. If it is coming like that and contour is coming, then it is well and good to apply the plaster. We all know the extension of the uniform cotton layer is to be there. Nowadays commercially available suppose are always there, 4 inches surface is being applied. And most of the time we do apply only two numbers of your POP, 2 numbers of 4 inch POP. So extending from the distal knuckle line so that the MP zone is always free, the thumb base is always free. Unlike this scaphoid fracture where we incorporate it, but here we do make it free so that he can have a good range of movement here and here. And it is always extending below the elbow in normal cases. Sometimes in interarticular bed fractures, it can be extended up to the above elbow. Number one. Number two, if it is a reverse Colles-Smith fracture, then we have to apply the plaster like this, supination extending up to the elbow. So these are the variations in those cases. Otherwise, most of the normal cases we do apply. Every time you are wrapping, it is important to wrap. Make the habit, one should make a habit, so that this locking between the two layers is always good. Otherwise, if the air is between the layers, then we can do plaster as a whole. So full welding is not there. And also giving a control in the area is important, because we all know that the anterior-posterior diameter of the forearm is less than that of the transverse diameter. That is one point. And also we always make the margins are very smooth. There should not be any sharpness both in the proximal part as well as distal part. And subsequently always customary to give standard advice to the patient that he or she should be encouraged to do active movement of the fingers, elbow movement, shoulder movement, so that shoulder hand syndrome or the other problem like stiffness is a common problem we encounter, should be avoided. So encourage the patient to do certain small work, not heavy work but small work. If you can do some picking or even writing, even taking tea and other thing can be done, should be encouraged. So we are going to demonstrate how exactly one should apply the plaster and how practical things should be considered. So we are going to show this in this case. So good morning my dear students. Today the application of Colles cast in a lady. So this is a lady who has come to us with a history of fall on outstretched hand, left side, and subsequently X-ray is being done. This is the AP view, this is lateral view. One can make out the fracture is taking place at the 1 inch of the ridge. So in the AP view one can find out the fracture line here. There is also a little bit of the lateral posterior tilt in the lateral view, and in the AP view as such there is no displacement, but you can make out that the level of your both the articular surface is almost same. That means there is upward displacement somehow. On the AP view there is a fracture there is upward displacement, and in lateral view one can see that there is little bit of tilt in the posterior side, dorsally. So necessarily we need to correct the deformity here, and we are going to demonstrate how the plaster is being applied in a case of Colles fracture. So necessarily traction and counter traction is very important. So traction, how to give the traction, one can see the holding of the finger is very important, so the patient is not very discomfort. So if you are holding it like this, one can have a better grip and hold it. Yes. So if we holding it in three finger like this, patient is comfortable and the finger is not being crushed in between the two digits. Yes. So this side is your traction, this is your counter traction. Gradually we are going to do. So this counter traction and counter traction, how it is going to help us? So it can help us because the traction is like this. Then there is impaction of the fragment. So there is also angulation and there is a little bit of displacement. So to correct it, we have to disimpact the fragments. So disimpactions can be done by traction and counter traction. So that is why it is important. Otherwise, if I am going to do the correction of the deformity without doing the traction and counter traction, it can be done. But thereby all the serrations will be broken and it will make it soft, smooth. The smoothness is not a good thing because inherent mechanism of locking system between the fragments is lost. So that is why it is better to do distraction of the fracture, then the correction of the deformity and apply the plaster to hold it. So that is why we are going to apply the traction and counter traction. So one can give little bit more correction like this. Like then we immediately supposed to apply. And they apply the powder there particularly in summer days because of this patient will be wet. So it is better to apply the powder. Then application of the cast padding or the cotton. Cotton can be also be applied, but we used to apply cast padding because of smoothness. One can make a hole over there. So accommodate this finger like this. So we all know the extent. Before that, see what I have made a mistake here. What mistake I have made? I made a mistake here that I have not do the correction but before application. So we need to correct it. What deformity was there? Deformity was posterior tail. So how to do the correction of posterior tail? Lateral displacement is also minimal or no. Only thing is that displacement is going posteriorly. So how we have corrected? So we necessarily have to do correction by holding the proximal fragment like this, and the thenar eminence should to be put on the distal fragment. So thereby, if I am holding the proximal fragment like this and give a support on the iliac crest, one can hold the proximal fragment very nicely because displacement is always happening in relation to the proximal fragment. So proximal segment considered to be an anatomical one, it is stabilized. Then we have to do the corrections by pushing the fragment down below. So thereby we can do it one time. Number two, whether we could disimpact the fragment or with an acid length, we can see the measurement of the two stylo process. One can make out the stylo process in the radial side is coming down, which is a difference of around half an inch normally. That indicates that we will be able to disimpact and the upward displacement is corrected. Yes. So here we have two. One is upward displacement, another is your angulation. So angulation can be corrected by like this, and then upward displacement can be corrected by traction and counter traction. Hereby, one can make out from the relationship of the two stylo process whether it is coming the same, whether it is same level or normal relationship maintained. Normally, the radial stylo process is supposed to be lower down that of the under stylo process. Yes, that is one. So we have seen the correction is being done, powder is being applied. Now we are going to apply the plaster to maintain the deformity we have corrected. So for this, we have to apply the cast padding like this, or one can go for the uniform layer of the cotton also. One should do it uniformly, wrapping the 1/3 of the previous wrap. Supposing I am doing so, so here I am going to wrap the 1/3 of the previous wrap, 1/3 of the previous wrap like this. The extension of the cast we all know below elbow up to the distal knuckle line. So up to the distal knuckle line. So how to allow the plaster to be used? So one should find out the end. End should be out always, and dip it in the water. Dip in the water till the bubble stops coming. Once the bubble stops coming, then one should squeeze the plaster like this. only to squeeze out the extra water, not the material. That is the ideal point. So one should apply the plaster from one end to another like this. Every time I am doing so, I have to wrap it like this. So thereby what I am doing is that the air between the layers should be squeezed out. Air between the layers should be squeezed out so that locking between the two layers is good. If the air is left in between the two layers, so the plaster is not very strong. One point. Number two, we always extend the plaster from one end to another. There is no point concentrating too much at the flexor side. No point. So we supposed to do it like this, so that there is cold welding. Cold welding means the layers should be adhered between two layers. There should not be any air. If the air is there, so it will definitely weaken the plaster. So that is one, and we have to extend it like this. The margins are very important. One should make the margin very smooth. Here also the base of the thumb should be free. Base of the thumb is free, so that he or she can do good thumb movement, and it should not be incorporated. Again another layer of plaster. Wait for 2 minutes till the bubble stops coming. Squeeze it like this, then should be like that. Again start from one end. Always start from one end, either distal end or the proximal end, not to concentrate too much at the flexor side. So that we are going to apply like this. Go to end, again come back. So I am doing this thing so that the anchorage or the adhesion between the two layers is always very strong. Otherwise, if I am not doing it every time, there may be air in between the layers. This one. Finally, I must give a shape of the plaster. You all know the anterior posterior diameter of the forearm is less than that of the anterior diameter. So we have to give a contour like this, and also maintain the deformity which is being corrected. So that the deformity is maintained. Deformity is corrected and is maintained by the plaster. So we have to keep it like this till the plaster is solid. One should not try to do correction after application of the plaster. The correction should be done beforehand. Only the plaster is maintaining the correction, not to do any manipulation after application of plaster. This is important. At the end, one should also make the margin very smooth. This margin should be very smooth, and also this margin is very smooth, so that the margin does not cause any pinch, or sharpness of the margin sometimes causes your damage to the soft tissue, and can also damage the skin. So that is very important. The margins are being smooth. This is being smooth, and one can make out. Usually in the summer days, it takes around almost 4 minutes time to be solid. So once it is solid, then traction and counter traction is no needed. So counter and traction should be maintained till the plaster can hold it. Once it is settled, one can. So this has already been done. It is already solid. Margins are smooth. Then we have to clean the margin. Okay. So this is being done. Now the post manipulation advice should be always being given. We are going to apply this leave out 2-3 days sometime. Then after that, we always encourage to do active finger movement, elbow movement, and also the shoulder movement, and encourage to do certain small walks, so that we are maintaining activity. Otherwise, if they are not managed, stiffness is one of the most common complications in restriction. So to avoid this complication, one should encourage it. And usually we are going to do an X-ray to see whether the reduction is satisfactory or not. So we are supposed to do a post manipulation X-ray and see. If it is okay, we will continue the plaster for around 4 to 6 weeks time. Usually 4 weeks time is enough. Sometimes 6 weeks time. 60 time, and in the period of time she should continue active finger movements, elbow and shoulder movement, also do certain small work, not the heavy work but small works, holding a file, holding cutting some vegetables, and also cooking, they can do, but not lifting some heavy object or something like that. Okay, thank you for your listening.